This is the FitnessFest podcast, highlighting health and fitness professionals across the globe and giving you the tools for growth. Let's start the show. Hello and welcome to the FitnessFest podcast, the podcast for health and fitness professionals. We got a great episode for you today. We have Janice Jaicks, the owner of FitnessFest. So this one might seem like a little different podcast, seeing that this is the FitnessFest podcast and we have the owner of the company on it, but we have someone here that has gone a different route, and that is in line with exactly what we want with this podcast. We want to be able to show health and fitness professionals that it doesn't always have to be point A to point B. It could be point A to point C, point D, whatever that might be. There's different paths to get there. So Janice, how you doing today?
I am doing great, Tyler, and it is great to be here. Thank you so much. And yes, I am all over the alphabet.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we wanted to do with this podcast. The goal of it, to show trainers that you might start with a CPT, a personal training certification. You might start with a group exercise certification. And there are so many different paths. Is personal training or group exercise a great route? Sure, it's great. But there's also many different things out there for them to look for, to try to get into. And it's just a matter of getting that idea and running with it. So Janice, kick this episode off with, what's your story? Give us a little bit on your background and how you got started in the industry. All
right. So to be honest, 33 years ago, and I was pregnant with my daughter, my middle daughter, who's now 33. And I was probably only 5 when I started. And if anybody can do math, they can kind of get my joke. But I was taking prenatal exercise, water exercise at the YMCA here in Mesa, Arizona. I was taking it. And the instructor said, "Do you think you'd like to teach?" And to this day, I'm really not sure why she said that, why whatever I was doing in the water or however I was acting or reacting made her think I'd be a good instructor. But I said, okay.
You had the it factor. That's what's it.
The what?
I said you had the it factor right off the bat.
Right. So I started training with her, teaching water aerobics, teaching swim lessons at the local Y. And I found I was really good at it. I was motivating and dynamic. I loved it. It was very rewarding. A lot of my friends and a lot of moms started asking me to teach in their backyards. Oh, wow. And it went wild. Of course, we're in Arizona where we have so many outdoor pools, and I just started teaching all over the valley swim lessons and water aerobics. From there, of course, I got my AEA certification, which is the aqua certification. Mm-hmm. Shortly after that, I just was so busy with water aerobics and swim lessons. And I also worked at a couple different health clubs too, that I decided I'm going to hire other instructors. I became incorporated. I got liability insurance. So that was like 1990. I started teaching in like 1985, 1986. I'm really dating myself. But 1990, I became incorporated, started hiring other instructors, wanted to become more marketable and more knowledgeable, of course. So I got my ACE certification. Mm-hmm. I got my AFA certification. And I've never taught land exercise, and I've never been a personal trainer. Aqua is still my thing. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to, of course, like I said, just find out everything I knew about the fitness industry, about anatomy. And then I started doing workshops. So of course I wanted to be more marketable. Make myself more marketable. So I started doing aqua workshops, and that is really, and I don't really remember the year. I want to say it's 96-ish, 95-ish maybe. My colleague Connie Lagerhausen and I did a 5-hour water aerobics workshop, and it was like dirt cheap, like $55, included lunch. And we got a little following there. I mean, we had like 50, 60 people come. Wow. And that is kind of the start of when I started the conferences. So what happened was so we did the workshop. We collected always collect your data, always take take names, take phone numbers, take email addresses. Yes, we even had email back then.
I was about to say, did they have email back then? Semi-joking.
Right. We had the brick phones though. So I was given an opportunity. There was a company called Aquafest that did conferences. We used to be called the Q Sports Club, and it's no longer around. And I think it eventually became 24 Hour Fitness. I don't even remember. But I was given the opportunity. They were going to, it was going to be, I presented for them actually, and they were going to become defunct. And I was given the opportunity to create my own conference and was given the mailing list to their, yeah, I know you don't usually get those kind of opportunities. So I ran with it, and we had our first conference at a health club in Chandler that I still am at because I hate change. And we had 66 people. And since my background is aqua, it was really mostly aqua participants that came. And from there, we just tried to figure out how to attract we had to beg people to go to the step was big back then. I had names like Jay Blanick and, Faye Steenerson. And of course, everyone knows the Jay Blanick name. I mean, those are the kind of, Andre Houlet, like several, back at 21 years ago, I had those kind of presenters that actually presented for me. And, so I had to figure out, rather than begging people to take the step workshop from Jay Blanick, because that wasn't really my audience, how to reach the group fitness instructor. So year after year, how do we market to the group fitness instructor? How do we market to the personal trainer? How do we market to the yoga Pilates? So as I grew, as FitnessFest conference and Expo grew, we figured out how to market to the different modalities. And it's ever changing. Anyone who does events and conferences know that, especially in the past 5-10 years with the social media and Instagram and the influencers and all that, it's just a whole new ball game as far as how to market to the different audiences.
And so you kind of touched on there how you started, the kind of rumblings of the beginnings of FitnessFest, and it's almost you were put into a great situation. You had this opportunity to continue it, and then after that, you kind of had an idea of some key people in the area to help you get to that next step. So what in this process, this initial phase of FitnessFest, what kind of helped with that confidence of, okay, I think that this could be a career, or this could be a great company moving forward? What do you think was in your mind, but also kind of what was happening at that moment?
I think it was so motivating and so rewarding to be in that arena with like-minded people who were smiling and laughing and dancing and happy. It was such a great buzz, a great energy, great feeling. And we got such great feedback to these live events that I just kept going. I just said, I'm going to figure out how to make this work. I feel that I got an entrepreneurial spirit from my dad, who had his own company. So I kind of leaped on faith and motivation, I guess, if that's the answer.
No, sometimes that's what it takes with being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. Sometimes it's belief in oneself, belief that you got a good product and you just need to get it out there. Sometimes that's what it kind of starts with.
Yeah.
So, so you're getting these rumblings going, you're getting the buzz starting. And I think you touched on something that not many business owners realize till it's too late. That's adapting to the times. It's 2019. We're about midway through the year, and it's a different ball game for a lot of companies, a lot of different conference, education, gyms, personal trainers, with social media, it's such a valuable tool, but also a lot of the same tools that maybe got them going are really what, work. So what do you think has helped Fitness Fest grow internally, but also, the conference itself? Have you seen that social media has been it, or has it really just been, I'll say networking? Networking is a great asset that just in the last week, I was talking with somebody about how growing workshops, a lot of it takes is, a person within that organization being able to validate the workshop education for them. What have you seen in your experience?
Well, definitely networking. I mean, I just came back from IDEA, and I go every year for the networking. And back in the beginnings, I had to really search out, and I don't want to say beg, but really search out to get speakers and presenters. And now they are coming in droves. They know of our reputation, and they want to be part of it. So that's different. But networking and social media for sure. But I will say that I feel, because things change so much, I feel that there were a few years, maybe in the past 5 years, that did not jump and change quickly enough, and did not, because really we just started Instagram a little over a year ago. So I feel a little behind the ball game on that. And so you do have to, I don't want to use the word change your model or reinvent yourself, but that is partially it. So we definitely made some solid, I saw my numbers slipping. There's so much more competition now too. And there's so much online training and online conferences, which of course, as a conference, someone who so believes in live conferences, because you cannot get that energy and that buzz online. You just can't. And it's one of my pet peeves that I know people are busy, but what is more important if you really want to make this career than being with your peers and feeling and seeing the energy? You can't see and feel that energy online or taking a quiz. But so it's just so much fun, and it's so rewarding. And if you really are serious about it, you've just got to take the time to do it. So we were kind of got a little complacent and not didn't really get with the times, or whatever whatever you want to call it. So really in the past couple of years, we're like, okay, what do we need to do to pick up our numbers to get people excited about going to a live conference? So in the Phoenix metropolitan area, and in Fitness Fest, we get about 27% out of state people, but so locally, and we can call ourselves international because we have people from Iceland and Australia, only and about Guam. 3 or 4%, but we're going to count us as international. So anyway, in the Phoenix metropolitan area, there are so many one-off fitness in the district and at the parks, and like hundreds of fitness enthusiasts are dancing and working out and joining each other. And the buzz about that is, and I don't know about the other parts of the country, but definitely we see it and feel it here, especially in the past even 3 or 4 years. So we're like, okay, first of all, there's some instructors out there, but second of all, those people need to be part of our buzz. We need new instructors. We need new trainers, new trainers. But even if they don't want to get in this industry, we want them to be part of our event. So we created a day called Bash. And it is all your pound and your strong by Zumba and your Zumba and your EDM and your fire up and high fitness. I mean, there's so many new formats in group fitness and in personal training. So we created that day designed for the fitness enthusiast, perhaps the wannabe, because we all started, like I started as a student. We all started as a student or a personal trainer who was taking advice and being trained by a trainer. We all started, most of us started like that. And for whatever reason, we decided to become a fitness professional. So we need more of that. We need of the enthusiast. We need the wannabe. We need more people to get in the industry. So we created this Bash Day, and we are on fire. We just got on fire with it. So just looking at what's going on now in our event, and changing it up social media wise, getting more of an Instagram following, Facebook following, even LinkedIn for business stuff. And of course, like you said, networking, just face to face, face to face is so important in my opinion.
I think you hit on a great idea, but also a great point in terms of one, the face to face, but creating these events that sometimes you have enthusiasts going to. Sometimes it might be somebody that's in a different career path, but they like mashup, or they like high fitness. They like these types of workouts that maybe they attend at a EOS Fitness or a different chain in the area, and they're like, I might like to do that on the side, or maybe I might be thinking about a career change. These are things that happen on a daily basis, and now you are providing that path for them to get that education, get that experience. So I'm guessing, and I'm sure this happens quite a bit, is that an enthusiast shows up for FitnessFest in Phoenix, and they don't have maybe a certification yet. They take some seminars, and then after that, they walk away thinking,
absolutely,
I want to get that education. I want to get that. I want to start teaching that. And because it's something maybe, and people have different life experiences, they have different paths, and maybe 10 years ago they thought they wanted to be a lawyer, or they thought they wanted to be a realtor. These are just examples, but I'm sure it happens all the time that they have that change of mind, and so you provide that option for them, which is a great thing.
Right. So I can list so many examples of people I know personally who were in a career that was such a grind for them, or call it a job or a career, that they were they were unhappy with. It was not fulfilling. So I believe that so many of these people changed their paths, even if they were making a lot more money, and said, we have one life. We need the happiness factor. We need the rewarding to inspire, to make a difference in people's lives. And that is what I feel I do at the conferences. I feel I still do as a water aerobics instructor, and as of my trainings I train instructors to be water aerobics instructors as well. And if I can touch their lives in whatever way, whether it's the fitness enthusiast or my student, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And so again, I do think that people who are in jobs that they're not completely satisfied with, why not try the fitness industry, because it is rewarding. And as we continue on, and I know as you and I continue on these podcasts, I know our vision is to so people want to know, how do you make it in the fitness industry as a career? Because you can't teach or train 40 hours a week. What else is there? So I know we'll touch on that as we move along on the podcasts, but it happened to be the event planning for me, and still teaching and reaching out and touching people's lives is just so inspiring, so rewarding.
I love it. So let's get back in our time machine right now. And so we know kind of the beginnings of FitnessFest. As many business owners know, there's a point where there's that initial struggle. Some businesses don't have it. The majority of them do, I will say. But what do you think? And also paint the picture of when. What was the date? What was kind of the scenery in the fitness industry, health and fitness industry? That what was that event that kind of like, okay, this isn't gonna work? What do you think it was? You had a great list of presenters that you were able to have come to a conference, or can you paint that for us right now?
I am looking back to we've been at several different venues, been thrown out of a couple places. Just kidding. It was probably at ASU, and we were at Arizona State University for 5 or 6 years. And I just had goosebumps all over, with a room full of 60 or 70 instructors that were just on fire with their energy. You could feel it. You could see it. And I'm like, holy shit. I don't want to say I did this, because it's a we. It's always a we. I have a team. We are a team. But we created this buzz and this energy and this inspiration. It's like, wow. So I don't remember the year, but we were at ASU, and I remember the feeling. I definitely remember the feeling.
No, I bet, that myself being a business owner as well, you kind of have those moments where you're just like, okay, this is going to work. This is a service that is going to provide hopefully education for individuals to grow their career, or it's something that it's a sustainable business we can put another one. We're going to have more great instructors. We're going to have more attendees. And I'm sure that is after every Fitness Fest out here in Phoenix. I'm sure you're like, wow, our best one yet. What can we do to make it better?
Right.
And what are those next steps? Okay, let's continue this momentum from there. So you just had actually a Fitness Fest in April.
Mm-hmm.
I know because I was there.
Yep.
What are some things that I'm sure you guys go over after each conference that you're okay? What are some things that we want to look to the future for? What are some things that you're maybe thinking, I want to get actually more of that because that was something that we had maybe a little bit of that we want to expand on. Can you talk about that right now?
Well, definitely the bash that I talked about. It was the energy in the ballroom where we had those high energy, more of the group fitness stuff, and also realizing we needed to add more space for it and not have something next to them because the music was not loud enough for them. So realizing that was a big hit. And it was very successful, making sure, we're talking about doing more, definitely more of that. And then our luncheon keynote, Samantha Clayton with Herbalife is very inspiring. And next year we're adding a keynote breakfast. And so our speakers love to get in front of a big audience. So that has become very popular. And we talked about doing more of that. What tends to be, there's so many things that are popular, like I talked about at the beginning of our discussion, is reaching the different formats, the personal trainer, the group fitness instructor, the yoga, Pilates, aqua, of course. So, but the corrective exercise, the functional aging, the older adults, the assessment, those topics, those workshops, those seminars are so very popular. There was gut health, nutrition seminars, lectures are very big. I mean, everything is, but some a little bit more than others. So just we took a look after the conference at things that worked, the feedback we got, the surveys we got. We got amazing reviews. On everything. And we also realized, and probably because of our changing our format in a little bit and doing the bash and welcoming more of the fitness enthusiasts, that we had 37% new attendees, people who have never attended. We have such loyal Fitness Fest attendees that some of them have been to every one of our conferences for 21 years. We also used to do Fitness Fest in Tucson. We did it for about 8 or 10 years. And so we gave that up about, I think, 6 or 7 years ago and said, hey, Tucson, you got to come up to Phoenix. So those are some of the things that came out of it. And of course, we are so already planning. We already have so many applications for presenters in already. And we've got a lot of keynotes already lined up. And so this is how early we plan for April 2020. So.
Wow. Good stuff. So we're talking about the future. Now let's go back to the beginning stages of Janice just starting off in the health and fitness industry. I would say maybe even just, even the aquatics or even in the initial stages of Fitness Fest. What would you say something that you wish you knew going into this profession, but also, in the initial stages of growing a business? What is something that what is something you wish you knew? And kind of along the way, when did you kind of discover that?
Well, I paying attention every single year, not getting excited when you have a big year and then going, oh, I got this, man. I got it down. Because the times are changing, and anyone who's been in the fitness industry for a long time can tell you, tenfold, oh my gosh, it's changed so much in the past decade and just ever changing. So paying attention, not being complacent, every single time, really paying attention to what is going on in the industry and what is going on with your numbers of attendees, what is going on with the feedback, what is going on with your financial numbers, just paying attention and not thinking, oh, I got this, because, I have definitely had struggles. I feel I'm back on the upswing, but, so I guess my lesson, paying attention and to every aspect of it, and not losing sight. I feel we don't lose sight of our vision ever, but, and our integrity, but paying attention to, all the little things and the changing times, like the social media. Cause like I said, we are a little behind on the Instagram. I'm old school, I still have a hard copy planner. So
you still go to the post office. Anyway,
let's not go that far, but I hate the post office.
But no, I think you really hit on a key component of being a business owner. And I think that sometimes as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, we lose sight of the small things that either got us there or the small things that we need to consistently do in order to maintain our business, whether it's knowing our business numbers, how much we got coming in, how much we got coming out, our analytics on our website or our social media, or even, maybe it's consistently getting feedback from our members, making sure that you're always getting the advice from them for how to make it better. So the surveys, all that kind of stuff goes into your business and what makes it grow. And sometimes, like you said, we get complacent and we miss sight of those things because we think that either we made it or we think that, they're just going to always come back because, they said they would, or even, they might be a friend or someone that you think is going to always come back. But if you miss out, they might find a different conference company. They might find a different certification. They might find a different item that they like. So you really hit on it in terms of those items right there. So now that, we've kind of painted the picture of, your beginning, the middle, the end of fitness, or not the end, the current status of FitnessFest.
Never say that.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about the industry in general now, what would you have for some advice for a new trainer just entering? That's one of the things that we know in terms of the industry, the health and fitness industry, is there's typically a pretty high turnover. People come in, they leave, nothing wrong with it. But what is some advice you have for a personal trainer just entering, or a group exercise instructor just entering? What is that advice that you'd give to them?
Don't think you're going to get rich. Do it for the love of it. Care about people. Get your darn national certification. And I am always disappointed that not enough new trainers and instructors are getting a national certification such as ACE or NASM or AFO or NCSA, ACSM. Your national certification is going to teach you safety. It's going to teach you about being a good trainer or instructor. So getting that and then figuring out like really what you want to do and who you want to help. It might be a niche. It might be the older adults. That may not be exciting to you, but my gosh, they need our help so badly. And there are so many baby boomers. It's just explosive. So, but don't do it if you don't want to do that. So figure out who you want to help and how you want to help them. Have a goal, have a vision, figure out how to get there. There's a lot of specialty certifications, of course, and there's a lot of specialty, whether it's group fitness or nutrition path or personal training path. There's a lot of those specialties that you also need. And also don't think that just because you do take a specialty certification or a national certification that you can walk into a gym and be a good trainer or a good instructor. Find a mentor. Find a really good mentor, and someone who's been around for a while and is good usually will want to help you. I love to help new aqua instructors. I love it. It just is so rewarding to me. And, I'll talk about my aqua progressions a little bit later in our talk. But so yeah, that's what I would say to a new instructor or trainer.
No, it's great advice. It's really great advice, and especially the mentor, but walking into a situation, whether you're a personal trainer, you're a group exercise instructor, I think sometimes these new entry level trainers, where they walk in and they think, oh, I'm just gonna naturally grow my clients. I'm gonna have so much money coming in, and they don't, and they leave. Or they have to get a second job, or sometimes that personal training job gets pushed to the side because it's just not paying the bills. Becoming a successful personal trainer or a consistent personal trainer, there's so many different steps along that path. It's learning how to be the business side of a business personal trainer, and some people don't want to do that, but that's how you turn that passion, that turning
Passion
from enthusiast into Exactly. And, some trainers might look down on those that might not have as much education as you, or that are, really good salesmen, but, they're making money. They're able to hold that business model. They're able to sign clients, or, they're personable people. These are things that people want to invest in. At the end of the day, whether it's a class or it's a, one-on-one session, people are investing. They're investing money, or they're investing their time in it. Nobody wants to do an hour session or an hour class with an instructor that is boring, or that it doesn't, get them excited to come to it. Not everybody wants to exercise these days.
Right.
And I'll say a vast majority don't want to. So
be if you be a motivator, be inspiring, and truly care. And if you truly care about, that's why one of the reasons I believe I am successful, and people like me as an instructor. And I'm not being cocky, because I've been doing this for over 30 years, because if I don't think I'm good, then I should have gotten out of it a long time ago. But I am an excellent aqua aerobics instructor, because I truly care about my students. They know I care about them. I am motivating. I am inspiring. I give them a good workout. I am humorous. I'm very funny. And listen. And if you're a personal trainer, listen to your clients. They are all different. They are all different backgrounds and physical limitations, goals. So you've got to listen. You can't treat everybody the same, whether you're a group fitness instructor or especially a personal trainer. You can't treat everybody the same. So you've got to be a good listener. And if you do not care about these things, and you do not want to motivate people, you probably should not be thinking about getting into this industry. But if it excites you and you're like, wow, this, I do want someone to come up to me after class and say, oh my gosh, you made such a difference in my life because of this. And sometimes I'm going to tell this story. So it was just last Thursday. That's when I teach my aqua on Thursdays. And I have an older woman who I hadn't seen in a while. And I said, oh my gosh, where have you been? And she said, oh, did you know my son died? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And I knew he had health problems, had depression. So I knew she was struggling with it. And he died. And so I hadn't seen her for, I think, 3 months. And after class, we chatted about it a little bit. And I said, well, keep coming to class. This is a great, she's been my student for several years. You know what a support system everybody is. And this class is, I hope it made you feel better. She goes, Janice, as I was working out in your class, I said to myself, today is the day that I start over. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. To make an impact. And it wasn't that it's me that's doing that. It's, it's the class too. But I was there and I was her leader and I'm the leader of the class. So, that says so much. And that's why I continue to teach. It's like comments like that, or comments like, I was walking with a walker and now I'm not. So things like that are just keep us going.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure that any trainer that's been in the industry for multiple years, can they bring up these stories in an instant? They sure can. Can they tell you on a monthly basis how much they're bringing in? Probably not, because it fluctuates on a monthly basis. But these memories, these stories that where you help somebody, or that you were the change in their life, these are moments that you live for. That's why you got into the industry, because you wanted to help them. And taking that one step further, staying in the industry, but even being able to help different people. This is where Fitness Fest comes into hand. You provide a option for them. You provide certifications at these conferences, but you're also providing them with continual education to stay in the industry. That's the part where some trainers, they lose sight that they got to continually grow. They got to expand, be able to help different populations, or expand within their own niche, whether they're working with athletes, they're working with seniors, whatever that might be. There's not just get your certification, maybe get one specialty certification, and that's it. It's a continued effort towards it. With that being said, what are some things in terms of the education that Fitness Fest offers that you've kind of seen change over the years, but also kind of what you want to see it go to? Is there more continuing education areas that you guys want to grow with?
Definitely the assessments, older populations, cognitive stuff, perhaps even touching on, more special populations like cancer, but that, all that as well, but also the pound and the high fitness and the fire up and mash up, like you mentioned. I could go on, and just the fun. Let's dance, let's move, so that is very, very much here, and very much, more and more. I mean, there's very, call it a specialty training or a licensing, training, but there's a lot of new stuff that's going on. Bollywood, that is definitely, we're going to take a look at all. We love the variety. We try to give a very well balanced variety. We have seven workshops going on at one time, and we try to attract someone who wants to learn more about gut health or nutrition, one who wants to learn new tools in the water, one that wants to hear about older adults, one who wants the serious TRX or personal training or functionally, whatever. So we try yoga, Pilates, we try to give that variety. So we have over 80 workshops, and gosh, this next year we're going to have a lot of certifications. We have, maybe we might have a dozen next year, where we used to have like 6 or 7. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, you did. That's growth. That's growth. It shows, where you started from with, just trying to get, maybe step going at your conferences, to now how many different certifications, seminars, continuing education units are attached to it. It shows that path, that shows that you can go into the industry in a different route. You touched on how, your path started with aquatics. It started with an instructor coming up to you saying you were great, that you could have a profession in this. And this is exactly what we want to discuss on the podcast, is that it doesn't necessarily just have to be point A to point B. You can take whatever path gets there, just continue, stay consistent, stay open, adapt, and all these kinds of things can lead you to a successful career, a profession. And I think everything you mentioned really hit on that. And it's great advice for people that are in the industry looking to get into it, and also motivation for those people that might be hitting that low. They might be, wondering, God, why isn't my business growing? Why isn't my client list growing? Or why am I just stuck in a certain area of the industry? Maybe they need to come to a Fitness Fest. They need to try different seminars. And I know that I recently wrote a blog post about that.
Yeah.
Grow outside of your bubble, go outside of what you do on a normal basis with your clients. Maybe that you might just be working with athletes. Okay, I'm going to go to Fitness Fest. I'm going to take a seminar on gut health, or I'm going to take a seminar on sleeping, or those types of things that they might seem like they're maybe on the peripheral of, is this really going to help my client? But you never know. They could have that element in there, that little piece that, okay, my client's back, they're going to like this. Oh, or this might help me gain an extra client because I have now more education. Yeah. So these are all items that are really useful for the trainer, the group exercise instructor, the wellness coach, any type of health and fitness professional.
Right. Yep.
So Janice, We're starting to wrap up here. Give us some information, give the listener some information about Fitness Fest. Where can they find information about upcoming Fitness Fest conferences, the social media channels, all that good stuff?
Okay, so fitnessfest.org. Our dates for 2020 are April 16th to the 19th. We'll be at the Sheraton at Wrigleyville, Mesa, Phoenix. And that is our next big event. I did want to give a shout out for my what's really become popular, more popular, something that that my aqua. But in the past 3 or 4 years, there are so many in Arizona, all over the country, really, we are lacking aqua fitness professionals, instructors, but in the Phoenix area, growing like a weed. And so I am bringing back more strongly my aqua progression certification. It's an 8-hour training. And my goal was to have 6 this year. I've already had 7. And my next one is in Tucson. August 25th. So I did want to, if anyone is interested in getting more tools in their tool belt or becoming, I've just had so many students like I used to be that say, hey, I want to be a water aerobics instructor. So we've got that. So, gosh, I'm supposed to know my Instagram. It's, I have people who know what my handle is and all that. So can we,
I got you
covered on that?
Right here.
So yeah,
I got you. Don't worry,
we are
Janice.
on Instagram and Facebook, but I know my website, fitnessfest.org, and that's where you'll. So Cyber Monday, that's our best prices. So the Monday after Thanksgiving is when we always give the best prices. And if people are not already on our email list, they want to email. They can email me personally at janice@fitnessfest.org. To make sure they get the latest and greatest as far as the best prices and all the different workshops and events that we have. For example, we have a retreat, a mind, body, spirit retreat every year. So we don't have a date for that one yet. So some listeners might be interested in that as well, or the August 25th Aqua. So.
Great stuff. So if you want to find Fitness Fest on Instagram, their user handle is fitnessfest.events. So again, that's fitnessfest.events. Check them out on there. You can find information about upcoming events, past events. You might see something on here that has interested you. Maybe you want to be a sponsor. Maybe you want to come and be or have a table at their next upcoming event. Check them out. Always good information on here. If you want to follow them on Facebook, their username is @FitnessFest. Here, you're going to find more information on here, information from other sponsors, other good stuff on there. So make sure you check out Fitness Fest. This has been the Fitness Fest podcast. My name is Tyler Valencia, your host for the episode. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe, like, download, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Tyler.